Hey there, guys. This is Karma Caston of Total Brohammer, bringing to show you my little gobbo build against a dwarfen scum build of ugly little stunties, led by Szechuan Sauce, who is a very nice guy. He may lead disgusting stunties, but he's a very nice guy. We meshed a couple times. He was a good sport. Okay, so let's do my least favorite part of the cast, the builds. So what did I bring? It's my standard gobbo build. Again, the gobbo build is pretty much the same every time with minor variations. You can bring certain things and drop certain things, but the core is usually the same. The main one being a Night Goblin Warboss with Wa and Tormentor Sword. Tormentor Sword is great because it's a net, and all nets are great, especially ones that are infinite, and that it recharges constantly over the game so long as you're in battle. And he's actually not a bad little lord. He has good stats. He's pretty fast. I think 82 speed, 45 poison, 53, armor piercing, bonus for his inventory. Like, he's a good little lord. Not a lot of health, 3300, but he's a good dude. Otherwise, a good bloke. Over here we have this guy scratching his ass. Man after my own heart. No, he's not. He looked like it though. You're my favorite, Mr. Bob Peterson. So Bob Peterson and the boys over here are ranked up to gold, 9 gold chevrons, the highest thing it ranked up, and I think that's a good idea. I have 2 of them. The idea being that their stats get boosted, obviously, but their leadership goes to 55, which isn't that high, but it's better than like 40, whatever it starts at, so they don't flee every 10 seconds, as they are wont to do. Alongside that, I have my Goblin Rocklobber and the Hammer of Gork. The idea being in this thing is I had like nothing here, because I wanted them to charge forward, and so I could surprise them with my super secret strike force. Over here I have a bunch of gold chevrons as max take out Night Goblins with the 2 regiments of renown. I do think this is the best configuration for the Warlords boys, because while they do armor sundering, they just get banged on by pretty much every unit in the game and they fucking crumble in like 10 seconds. So I think it's good to put them with Day Peak Loonies, because Day Peak Loonies never rout. So you have armor sundering and unbreakable in a little blob. It's pretty effective. Of course, the issue is Dragon Breath will just destroy that, or a couple of charges will just wreck both units at the same time. But these are dwarves. There are no dragons, and there are no fears of charges. So, early cycle charges. So, yeah, I think especially in this build, in this matchup, it's a good little configuration you can run with. Then I have the Gobbo Firing Squad, but this time, my own modification, I brought Night Goblin Archers. Why did I bring these guys? For the forward deploy and the stock. I actually think for extra 125 spend, unless you really need it, these guys might be the way to go because they do poison. Their melee stats are much higher than regular Goblin Archers, and the stock is huge because the stock allows them to get in close and not get shot down by units that pretty much outrage them, which is pretty much every archer unit. They like 115. Yeah, so it allows them to get much closer without being seen. So I might start bringing these guys to the other gobbos. I mean, it's a 250 spend cost, so we'll see, but I don't mind it. The Nasty Skulkers all have, these are just extra gold I spent with those chevrons. Usually I bring them without chevrons because they're pretty good. They're pretty effective without it. Something I didn't know about them was that they have this cool ability. Where is it? Yeah, opportunist murderer. That's what I named my penis. Anyways, not a funny joke. That was a bad one. I'm sorry, YouTube. Yeah, so they get 13 melee attack and 40% armor piercing damage. So yeah, if they're winning in melee combat. So that's really great a bonus. So it's a little interesting ability to know about, and it makes these guys really effective, especially at 500 gold. In the back here, I bought Dirkic Squids and Squig Herd, or Night Goblin Squig Hoppers rather. I'm still not convinced about these guys. I brought them in a lot of matchups, and they rarely seem to perform for me. But I think in this, I don't know, you need some sort of mobile units to complement the Gobbo builds, and it's either these guys or Squig Herds. And Squig Herds were fantastic in the first game. But now that they have Rampage, I think their stats have been done away with a little bit, and they're much slower than these guys. I'm not sure I'm the biggest fans of Squig Herds. And I think these guys are probably just, at this point, the better pick, but I'm not sure if they're a good pick. So still have to try them out, still seeing how it works. In this matchup, I think they're pretty effective. But as you can see, we'll go through my opponent's build real quick. He's got 2 miners with blasting charges on their flank. Got 3 long beards with great weapons. He's got the Grumbling Guard in the back here. He's got 2 Thunderers, 2 Slayers, 1 of the Dragonback variety, and then 2 Thanes, I assume, with Tormentor Sword and that stuff. Yeah, so Tormentor Sword on 1. Yeah, both have Tormentor Sword. And then Thorgrim with his buffs, his melee buffs, the ones that I forget what they're called, like High King or something or another. Yeah, he's got this one, High King, and Great Book of Grudges. So he's got the crown, he's got the books. The boys are ready to fight. So what was my plan here? My plan was hoping that he would just stay here and I could just attack him from behind. because it's really difficult to maneuver your units in that regard, especially dwarves who are pretty slow, and then he would be taking artillery fire the whole time. But my opponent wisely moves his guys off, and even here, like you can see, just very clever move. He runs these guys away from my charging nasty skulkers. He brings his slayers back to screen. I don't know if the slayers were the best choice to screen, but still, it was a good move. I mean, he didn't lose these guys for nothing. And yeah, it was a wise move. Here, I'm about to charge them. I don't know why they just stopped. Something happened. He brings his slayers to screen these guys, but they're so fast they'll be able to sneak around. Meanwhile, I bring my goblin strike force coming. They're in here. So I like this little move I did here. If I can toot my own horn here, I charge him. I go this way, and then I go that way. A nice little juke, and he said, "Just get in the gap," and I get his thunderers. And I was like, oh, all right, good move. And I was really proud of myself. And I was like, if I lose this game, I should cast it because that was a nice little move on my part. If I do say so myself. Over here, my trolls get into the fight, and they should be able to do great damage, but they just get unloaded on with these thunderers. I'm like, okay, guys, time to get the fuck out of here. This isn't John Peterson's or whatever his name was, Mr. Peterson's unit, but I still care about them. But the good thing is they haven't lost a unit, so they will regenerate full health over time, so that's good. Meanwhile, I'm attacking really hard in this flank with the Goblin Strike Force. And I'm bringing my trolls in here to back up my lord, who's just fighting miners, so I don't mind. And I get a little charge in here with the trolls, and I'm just like, okay, just stay in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, something like that, and then I get them the fuck out of there because I don't want to fight slayers. And you see, I run them right into this little Goblin Strike Force. And oh, we missed over here. These guys threw like one volley and decimated them. It was pretty impressive. But so you can see, yeah, he took out my artillery, but again, I wasn't fussed about that. That wasn't important to me. What's important to me is messing up his formation, because I could lose these and I won't lose the battle. But you can see here, I'm in his back line. He has no back line. He has no lines. Over here, I'm about to hit his thunderers with these, I call them squidgards. His slayers have been outmaneuvered. My other squidgards over here with the trolls hitting these thunderers. These slayers are holding up a lot of units, but I'm getting these guys to move around to kill the thunderers. And then I'm just like, okay, let's get rid of the slayers. That'll be huge. Again, over here, I don't really care that they're fighting the blasting charges. I don't mind that at all. He's charging these Hammer of Gorks, the Rock Lovers. I mean, this one he just loses my Ferons to keep charging. But I mean, it's just, at this point, it's not really a big deal anymore. And I'm just trying to take his units out. So you have them spread out all over the place. Like these trolls, even though they're weak, should be able to beat down on these Longbeards. And there's no range support. So I'm happy with the way the battle is going. He's out of position. I charge here on Thorgrim. I pop Wah to give everyone a melee buff. And then I just start unloading on him with the Gobbo firing squad. Well, just 2/3 of it at least, which is the Night Goblin Archers and the Rusty Arrows. And I think I have a bunch of other spells going off here. Yeah, Itchy Nuisance and Tormentor Sword. So what is his melee attack at? Like 7. So he's not going to do much damage to Night Goblin Warboss, and he's going to get beat down upon. Now he's back to 59, which is really high. But the damage is already done. I mean, at this point, it's so lopsided. He's poisoned, so he's going to get taken down. In other parts of the battlefield, things are going okay in my favor. Over here, I mismicroed my 2 Jerker Squids. I meant for them to charge the Thunderers, but they got caught up on the Slayers. And I sent them another charge order, but they, like one unit still fighting, they turned back around, and by the time I looked back, they were already dead. Over here, I'm like, okay, I'll bring the Trolls in to help work on these Thunderers, because if my opponent isn't paying attention, Szechuan Sauce over here isn't paying attention, who must be a Rick and Morty fan, I can only assume. A man after my own heart. But I'm going to get him with these Trolls here, and he's not. He's shooting these Trolls. But these Trolls, the second I pay attention to them, I'm just going to pull them right through, because you have the EP Gloonies in here, and you have the Warlord's Boys, so both of them will do pretty good damage to the thing. So I pull the Trolls through. These Trolls have hit the Thunderers. Over here, he's in a little death blob with these Miners against my armor-piercing units. On this side, I'm attacking his Godlovers, came back online. My Gobbo firing squad is still very much very healthy, and these Trolls are kind of like mini Cav. I mean, they're not super fast, but they got 54 speed, but they're definitely faster than Dwarves. So they're just, as you can see, they're just all over the place. I cast an Itchy Nuisance again, so they're going to be doing far less damage, and they're going to have weaker melee stats. And these guys are just, they're trading pretty well with my Goblin, Goblin Fanatics. But again, it's not really a big deal, because at this point, I've sort of dominated the field. My Squigs are back. I cast that one just for fun, because, at this point, the battle's kind of over. My Trolls are, messing people up over here. This unit's very healthy, but my firing squad, there's no threat to it at this point. And I just, over here, killed the Thane, and I just lost my on these guys for a second, and then I'm like, alright, time to charge. Yeah, so let's just speed up the battle, because at this point it is over. And you just see these guys getting smoked, and then there's these dudes, and my opponent at that point, Szechuan Sauce, called it quits. So, another fun little gobbo. I was really excited with how this build is working out. I mean, in the right situations, it could be great. I actually took it in a tournament against Andachi or Andaje, or how to pronounce that guy's name, who's a very, very talented player. And I mean, I got crushed, but that battle was actually quite close, I would say, compared to the next battle especially. And I think it would have been much different. Um, I guess he guessed where I was forward deploying, and he deployed his units right on top of mine. So I lost a lot of my cav right at the start, which was huge. Because if they'd stayed alive, they might have been able to change that. But that's beside the point. What I'm trying to say here is this build's actually quite good. I do think it can even be competitive, only because it's not expected. A lot of people, when you bring orcs, or greenskins rather, they expect armor, so they bring anti-armor. But this army doesn't have any armor. I don't care about all at all. This army's not about armor at all. This army's simply about holding and hitting them with your big units. So whether that's trolls, or rock lobbers, or if you want to bring in a Ragnarok, or something along those veins, or even cycle charging by squid herds, it can be very effective. Or even shooting them. I mean, the whole point of this army is to hold and kill. Like, this is the holding line, this is the killing line. And these guys with their good stats, and their boosted melee, their boosted leadership, they actually aren't that bad at holding, these four, the Goblin Fanatics. And you can bring regular goblins and boost them to like 400 or whatever it is, 500, and they're also quite good at holding as well. And then this guy's a very effective lord. He's got a little, oh, he's got a cute little like nose ring, adorable, red eyes. I like the horns, just gorgeous. Yeah, so I brought this build on many matches. I have yet to lose a ladder match with this build. Of course, I've just jinxed it now, but yeah. So I am very happy with the results of this build. As for my opponent, I mean, you can never guess gobbos. It's very rare. Someone, I mean, obviously I went crooked moon, so you can maybe guess gobbos, but yeah, they brought great weapons, which are ineffective in this matchup. Blast charges are really effective because I have no armor, but they weren't able to use them to full effect because one got tied up by my Night Goblin Warboss. The other one did manage to get 65 kills, and that was on one of the Nasty Skulkers. He just wiped them off the field. The two Thanes, I guess it makes sense depending on what you think the Lord is going to be. Because everything else, I don't really think you need a Tormentor Sword. I mean, maybe like a Giant or something like that, but if someone brings a Giant against Dwarves, that's a huge mistake, because they'll just get wrecked real quick. So yeah, I'm not sure about the double Thane with Tormentor Sword, but it could be useful to snipe Lords. It's not a bad pick by any. I'm just not sure it's the most effective. All right, but anyways, yeah, GG to my opponent. Thorgrim, of course, is a good pick in most matchups because of those huge buffs. But GG to Szechuan Sauce. I enjoyed playing you, buddy. I liked your little messages. And yeah, it was a fun game. And any day with the gobbos in it is a good day by my reckoning. So thanks for joining me, and hope to see you in a goblin-filled future.